this morning, drama of the highest order in semifinal number 1. Orlando City, maybe the deepest team in this tournament, up 1-0, but Cedar Stars Bergen down a goal, down a man in stoppage time, roaring back to take down the defending GA Cup champs. Our second semifinal moments away. We're seeing once again the MLS Next Cup always delivers. Semi-final Friday rolls on at the MLS Next Cup. Today, two proud academies match up for the right to play on Championship Sunday. LA Galaxy have rolled through these playoffs, dispatching all opponents with eye-opening ease. Real Salt Lake needed PKs in the round of 16, but enter after a quarterfinal round of their own. The Galaxy and Real Salt Lake squaring off here, and as noted, you see the updated bracket less than an hour ago, one of the most thrilling finishes we've seen all week. Cedar Stars Bergen erasing the deficit, taking down the defending GA Cup champs. They are on to the final to face the winner of this one here. Former MLS defender Jaleel Anababa, I'm AJ Ricketts. What you saw, the emotion, the drama, the pageantry, especially in that game, how much it means to these teams. What might make the difference in these thin margins in a semifinal game like this?
I think it's all about the details, the heart, determination, and grit. You have to remember what got you here, and that is being able to win your individual battles, and then the rest of your footballing should permeate through the match, but you have to earn the right to play, and you see if you're able to become victorious and get into the final, how much it means to each and every one of these young individuals.
Tell you what, the LA Galaxy have been prolific offensively. Midfielder Dylan Vanney leading the way in their quarterfinal matchup with the Brace.
Yeah, absolutely. He is going to be a player to watch in this fixture because he doesn't only have the ability to score goals, he can facilitate them as well.
What a matchup it was in that quarterfinals. Vanney and his brother getting it done for LA Galaxy in those quarterfinals. We take a look at the starting 11 for LA Galaxy. Partner, it's a 4-3-3 once more.
Yeah, 4-3-3, and Sagely is going to sit right in front of Dylan Vanney. Look for those two to combine, play off each other so Correas can get very high up in the attack because he can be dangerous as well when joining late.
Real Salt Lake enters with momentum of their own after a 3-0 win. It's a 4-2-3-1 here.
Yeah, look for the wide progressions and on both sides of the ball to be able to join into the attack, get good service in to the point man up front. This is a team that is not necessarily first choice in terms of being depleted a bit, but look for Riquelme to do his thing underneath that 10 spot.
Very talented attacking prowess across this Real Salt Lake lineup. Diego Rocio has appearance for the U.S., the Mexican youth national team, I should say. MLS Next Pro experience all across this roster as well, but LA Galaxy have been unstoppable. In their last 6 matches, they're outscoring their opponents 21-2. And have breezed through the Next Cup playoffs here. Will they face more adversity today? Surely it's coming at some point. Real Salt Lake hoping to have something to say about how easy at times this has looked for the California side.
One thing that you do know is that the further you advance in the tournament, the more stiff the competition is. This Real Salt Lake side is very much up to the challenge. Yes, you talk about the fact that LA Galaxy has been able to hit the back of the net and score goals by the bunches, but I expect this one to be extremely competitive. The contrasting styles of play will show through once we get past the 15th minute or so, typically, when the game lulls off.
Antonio Riquelme leads Real Salt Lake in scoring with 19 goals this year. Really bright moments recently, scoring in the U.S. Open Cup for Real Salt Lake. His few opportunities with the first team. Probing into the attacking third here. Vanney has it covered as Grayson Carter was trying to angle towards the service. Carter sprays it to the far side. Alengave operating along the wing. 3-0 win against Michigan Jaguars to start off the playoffs. survived in penalties against Real Colorado, and then a 3-0 win against Philadelphia Union here for Real Salt Lake. Right along the end line, stayed in play. Galaxy working from the back now. Now down the pitch here. Good challenge made along the near side. 1v1 defending. Back out, it's James Rhodes. Now this is launched from 20 yards out. Two-hopper easily handled by Will McKay. 17-year-old keeper made his professional debut in the 2023 season at the MLS Next Pro level. Hoping to cap his academy career with the championship on Sunday. Two really solid keepers in net today between Will McKay and then Owen Pratt on the other side.
AJ, we talk about the last dance, if you will, for this age group, trying to become national champions in your last swan song in the academy ranks unless you're playing up. And that brings a lot of pressure, but it also brings motivation and exuberance to be able to get into the attacking third here and then to defend, to do anything and everything that you can to increase the chances that your team is going to become victorious and get into the finals.
A little more sense of urgency. This is unleashed from the 18 as it's set up well for Jack Otley, excuse me. Sends it upstairs. The first shot attempt for either side today. Virginia Beach native Jack Otley, formerly at Beach FC, joined the academy last year. Galaxy defeated Weston FC 3-0 in the opener, then FC Dallas after that. And then in the academy version, of course, of El Tráfico against LAFC, just a dominating performance, flipping the scoreline of when they met previously a couple months ago. A 5-1 LAFC win. Galaxy turning the tables on that, and a dominant performance. It was 4-0 at the half. They got to rest a lot of their starters down the stretch a couple days ago.
Yeah, and what they did extremely well in that match, AJ, was to get out the gates early with a lot of confidence, find an early goal, and then continue to double up, triple up on their luck and put the game out of reach very early. And that may pay dividends for them to be more well-rested coming into this match, because like you said, anytime you can get rest in the quarterfinals for your first choice players and then build confidence with your squad players, you're sitting pretty.
Especially in these hot and humid conditions, to get a lot of those players out at right about the hour mark. Rest those legs, potentially advantageous the rest of the way. What kind of damage can LA's front three do today? Preston, Sagely, Correas. Preston nearly got through there. A meeting of the ball 30 yards out. Now Salt Lake trying to be sharp with it. And he's passed back, had enough on it. Like deep down the field, Sagely. Correas trying to track it down. Centering pass is taken away. And here's Real Salt Lake in transition. That goes awry. This time pass from Dylan Cantafio. UCLA commits. So many impressive facets of that 5-1 victory over LAFC for the Galaxy. We were talking at the end of that game, hard to critique anything. What was the most impressive aspect of that win from your perspective?
The way that they managed the game. Of course, you'll look at the scoreline and say, okay, you know, it wasn't close or anything like that, but I don't think that really summed up how quarterfinals went.
Over the top, looking to locate Sagely. Rivera and Estala, sharp. Estala sends it away.
And when you look at a rivalry match, which the quarterfinals were in the El Tráfico de los Jóvenes, it was interesting because LAFC was pretty well allocated throughout the field. It wasn't as though they weren't in the match as far as what they were trying to do, but LA Galaxy was just so much better in the moments that really changed games, finishing their chances and being aggressive when they're in the attacking third, and then defending well as a unit.
Some clinical finishing throughout. Rocio's centering passes cleared off the line, but first corner kick here for Real Salt Lake. It was Pepe Magana tracking back 10 MLS appearances to his name. Also got some time in the U.S. Open Cup. U.S. Youth International, very high on their center back, Pepe Magana. He's been with the academy since he was a 5th grader. It's a common story up and down this LA Galaxy lineup. First corner kick here. Good ball in, but handled by Pratt. Pratt, who signed homegrown at the start of this year. That'll kick in 2027, another U.S. Youth International. MLS Next Pro experience in 1 goal, U.S. Youth International experience in the other. Here's Securis, whose dad is the head coach here, this U19 squad. Up the field to Vanny. There's Pops, of course, the head of the first team. Securis. Over to Hartley. Gabriel Arnold scored in the 5-1 rout on Wednesday.
Takes out all the Real Salt Lake defenders here. Correas, we talked about him in the open. When he can get space to run at you, or those late runs into the box, he's very dangerous. We saw that in the quarterfinals. He's continuing on where he picked up just a few days ago. An excellent player. If you're Real Salt Lake, you're going to want to get more pressure to the ball, and most importantly, you need to make sure that you track his running.
He is a goal scorer, is Correas, 15 of them this season. Eligible for the U.S. and El Salvadorian youth national teams at the moment. That was a terrific ball in as LA starting to get a bit more comfortable on the ball. Preston plays it forward. Real chance here. Saved. Second ball. Oh, it's off the line. Preston now. 3rd time's the charm. LA 1-0.
This is what LA Galaxy did very well in the quarterfinals, is to come out of the gates ready for the game here. This is excellent play. In, back, wide, through, staying with it. Second bite at the apple, third bite at the apple. Finds Preston on the score sheet. Right here is why LA Galaxy is so difficult to defend, because they have so many attacking options and they're relentless in their attack. Sagely thought he found a goal, but Preston is opportunistic and he says, why wouldn't it be me? Of course it would be me on the back post. If you leave me open, I'm going to punish you. 1-0 in the 11th minute. Hey, this is going to be an exciting one. I told you LA Galaxy is picking up exactly where they left off in the quarterfinals.
Just relentless in the box. Eric Preston, who spent time with Ventura County this spring, U.S. Youth International as well, puts LA on the score sheet early.
And that seems to be a common theme. LA Galaxy setting themselves up to potentially score multiple goals in this game. If you don't come out ready to match the intensity and be very excellent and attentive on the defensive side going against this LA Galaxy team, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Here they come again.
Looking for more. Correas sprays it across. Still not cleared. Vanny fighting for it. That was a whistle from a different field. So the play continues as Salt Lake trying to settle things down here. Very encouraging signs all across the pitch from a Galaxy perspective. And their weapons are everywhere. Preston, Sagely, Correas, Dylan Vanny, Mason Vanny's always playing up the field on that right side of the pitch. He makes himself another attacking option.
Absolutely. Sean Sekiris will be very happy about the way that his side has picked up. Ooh, that's good feet and well done to draw the foul there. But Sean Sekiris is going to be very happy here in the 13th minute of this match because they've done a good job to parlay their momentum in from the rest of the tournament in here into the semifinals, and not easy to do. If you're down there on the pitch, it's hot, it's humid, and these players have had to be locked in for a week straight. Not easy to do. When you're preparing for second team or first team matches, you typically have 4, 5, 6 days in between games here, AJ, but these young gentlemen have had to flip the script in 2 days and make themselves ready week in, week out, and they've been excellent at doing that. So for me, the mental fortitude of LA Galaxy is reigning superior here early on in this match.
A little easier when you're 19 to bounce back, but the volume is adding up, adding up here this week. Playing the middle of the day, though, that's going to be hard for whatever age group it is.
Yeah, I think physically, the younger you are, the easier it is to bounce back, but I would argue that mentally, the more difficult it is because they're still learning how to develop their professional mindsets, right? And that's why these tournaments can be very valuable tools of development. It's not just the X's and O's and the execution. It's the mentality that a lot of these young individuals are really coming into. When you look here at Dylan Vanny, he's showing that of the highest order, making sure that he's mentally, physically, and tactically prepared for these games, and that's permeated through this group as he's the leader in that number 10 spot as well, wearing the number 10 shirt.
It feels a little bit like the LAFC match already for this Galaxy side in terms of the mentality and obviously an early goal. Salt Lake, second corner kick here. Play it on the ground to the 6. Good, well-designed piece. They will get a shot off, but all sorts of bodies in the area. That'll be a foul on Sekiris. Another set piece here from an interesting area. Grayson Carter and Juan Villa on the ball. Villa swings it in. It's immediately headed out by LA. Preston giving chase. It's tapped back to Villa. Homegrown signing. Careful now. We'll tap it back to Will McKay. Villa, US U17 international. Accompanied them to the CONCACAF U17 qualifiers in Costa Rica recently. That's taken away. Danny was trying to make things happen. Barrios. Now Preston 1v1 on the edge. Lays it off. Vanny now dispossessed from behind. Goes near side. Correas tried to cut inward. Back line of Real Salt Lake holding their breath a bit. Good moments here from LA. Now Preston. Flag was up. LA's playing narrow, but it's been effective for them here in the first 15+ minutes. It bounced to an advantageous spot. Looking for any sort of space to get a shot off. Cutting towards the end line. There was some contact. Jack Otley on the pitch was not rewarded with a whistle. Was there enough contact here?
This is decent here from Utley to try to get towards the end line. It's difficult to see if if there's contact there. It just looked like maybe the bodies came together. Utley tripped inadvertently on his own. But the LA Galaxy is doing a very good job to play these balls into the pocket behind the midfield of Real Salt Lake in front of the back line, where it's that soft space where defenders don't necessarily know should they go in, should they not. And if they get it late where they have been, it makes it very difficult and an easy situation for the Galaxy to bump it back in and create goal-scoring opportunities.
Halangave had it taken away. Preston chips it 10 yards out. Recovered well by Villa. The Galaxy will continue to work possession. Everything they could ask for out of the first 15-plus minutes here. Four to 2 advantage in shots taken. Preston scoring in the 11th minute off of the rebound. Trying to find Vanny on a central corridor run. Here's Villa. Good ball to the middle of the pitch. Rocio. Now far side, Otley. Trying to take on Ryan Hartley. Hartley gets the better of him there. Well done to win it back near the benches, though. Salt Lake trying to earn a spell of possession here. Riquelme. Talk about Real Salt Lake, founded in 2004, started play in 05. MLS Cup a couple years later, 2009, after finishing at the bottom of the league their first year. Think about legends of the organization through the years. Javi Morales, Nick Raimondo, Kyle Beckerman have all ingrained themselves synonymous with the club. Rich history, and the academy is now continuing to produce top-end talent, just as the Galaxy's has. Struggling right now here in the opening moments, though, against the Galaxy side that enters with as much momentum as anybody. Here's Villa. Carter stayed on. Villa does get it across. Handled well by Magana. He had the corner handled. This settles for a shot. It's headed right back. Better here from Real Salt Lake. Another ball chipped into the near post, but that goes sailing. No one on the end of it. Real Salt Lake trying to grow into things here.
Yeah, and they're getting themselves into the game. The way that they're able to do that is to invite their wide players to get forward to affect the game here. Just clipping it toward the back post, you get a second bite at the apple here. And LA Galaxy does a good job to make sure that they get numbers in front of the ball where they're able to get good blocks in. But RSL finding themselves a little bit more joy as they get on the ball a little bit more. The one thing that the LA Galaxy continues to do very well in this tournament, AJ, is that they use their possession with a purpose to dominate the early stages of the game, and they've been so effective at scoring goals early, and they understand how to manage the game. So it makes it difficult for you if you suffer an early goal against this LA Galaxy side to get yourself back in it.
Yeah, they're immediately putting teams on the back foot. Here's Preston now. Estala, difficult assignment there. Arnold trying to turn the corner. Barrios right on him. Game of 2v1 there. It'll be a throw for Salt Lake. Their first team sits 12th in the West at the moment, 12th of 14. Certainly that 09 MLS Cup, he's seen further and further away with each passing year, but that was such a enjoyable, memorable run to the Cup final, that dramatic 5-4 shootout win over LA Galaxy. Nick Raimondo getting MVP honors that year. Utah's first major pro championship.
And that was right in around the time that I was coming into the league, and Real Salt Lake was one of the teams that I trained with in college. And you know, Jason Christ was the head coach, Robin Fraser was assistant coach there, and you had players, young players like Tony Beltran at the time, that, you know, really set the standard in MLS and made a lot of young players, up and coming, aspiring pros like myself at the time, really marvel at what they were doing, because they had a young, rich history, a lot of guys with prowess for club and country. Most importantly, they had a good organization that a young player would be very excited to get into. And when you look at the historics over 15, 20 years here, they've really fortified their pathway and have allowed themselves to compete in these tournaments and produce top talent. And the way that they do it has been excellent from that point on, back in their early history till now.
Yeah, Jason Christ, when he took over, you were talking about in 07, he was the youngest head coach in MLS history at that time. Implemented that 4-4-2 diamond midfield that was not really that common at that point in time. And got that core of Beckerman, Morales, Borchers. And the way to set up a good system. Good dribbling here by Preston. Oh, he's finding some space. Plays it to the middle. This shot takes a parry and keeping it in. Well done by Will McKay. Trying to keep Salt Lake afloat here. Barrios, good little flick onto the center of the box. Rosio's trying to get more involved here.
Yeah, and this game's starting to heat up, AJ.
Look at the shots taken. It's only 5-4 to LA. I'd say in the first 10 or 15 minutes, this was certainly controlled by Galaxy. Salt Lake's starting to play with a little more rhythm here.
Yeah, typically starts to even or level out as far as the rhythm of the game after their earlier stages have been surpassed, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. LA Galaxy is still remaining superior because they've kept a tight grip on possession, and they're not just playing side to side in their defensive half. They're being very effective in advancing into the middle parts of the field and then getting into the attack with teeth and numbers.
Preston's been everywhere on the pitch for this Galaxy side. Here's Sagely, though, working hard. We're very impressed with his effort on Wednesday. Now Vanny, look at all the space in the middle there.
Trouble.
Mason Vanny making a run. Deflection trickles over to him. That was a good idea. Now Vanny heads it back. Flag was up. He was trying to find Sagely.
LA Galaxy here can go direct. They can play through you and back and through this a little bit more direct. The goal scorer here, Preston, just doing a very good job to keep good technique into the momentum of his stride. And him and Sagely have been very dangerous. But when you sit down and you talk to the Real Salt Lake folks, they'll be very happy about how McKay has entered into this game. He's a shot stopper, not necessarily a goalkeeper that has the height, but the cat-like reflexes. Been compared to Nick Raimondo in that vein here. So for him to be able to keep his side into the game, he's going to need to deliver more saves just like that one.
That'll be a yellow issued to Dylan Cantafio. He scored in the round of 32. Cantafio into the book. Speaking of key early saves, I mean, we saw it yesterday in the Nashville-Atlanta U15 match. 2 huge saves made by Atlanta's keeper in the first half, and they were down 1-0, and the entire tenor of the game was going against them. And they found 2 goals in the second half, kept afloat by their young goalkeeper. Will McKay trying to do the same right here. We'll take a hydration break. Gabriel Arnold getting stretched out in midfield.
Yeah, this is not a good sign here for Sean Securis' side, because Arnold is a very important piece to their midfield. They play in that 4-3-3, and Arnold sits on the left-hand side mainly, and he stays narrow, close to Dylan Vanny, and is able to facilitate deep line play and has been excellent in their possession throughout the course of this tournament. So for his sake, hopefully he's okay. But you can see the Real Salt Lake coaching staff just coaching, barking information. And this is these moments in the game where, yes, you're down 1-0 in the 27th minute. You're looking for ways to get yourself back into this game. And the way that you do that is to get more on the ball. Salt Lake needs more possession, and you have to fight and claw to earn your right to get on the ball. And then when you do that, be more poised. They're looking for, you know, maybe hopeful opportunities with not enough patience to get themselves in the attacking third, and that's not always what they want to do. So for them to hold this game back into their favor would be to get more on the ball, be patient when you do, and allow your numbers to get forward so it's not 2 against 5 or 1 against 3.
Saw Phil Cousins giving direction there for Real Salt Lake, their English-born head coach, foundation, 15 years, Reading FC's men's and women's pathways. Now overseeing the U19s here in Murfreesboro over the course of the week at the MLS Next Cup. And of course, Coach Sekiris on the other side, Sean Sekiris, UCLA alum, former U.S. Youth International himself, spent time coaching the U.S. U16s and U17s before joining the Galaxy's academy setup.
Yeah, the amount of time and years, sacrifice that Sean Sekiris has put into developing young talent throughout California. In his earlier time after his playing careers in Northern California, helping a lot of young players fortify their dreams and their technical ability as well. And when the family moved down to Southern California, he continued his efforts in rising up in the ranks as a coach. And you can see his 2 sons have been excellent as well in terms of grasping what the dream is to elevate in this system. And in the midfield here, the family still continues to affect soccer at an extremely high level. And when you look at LA Galaxy and this U19 side, what makes me very happy is that a lot of the top players are either committed to college, they're already through the pathway, and the Galaxy has done a very good job to be able to open up doors for their youth. And it's shown here in this tournament and how they continue to fortify the young talent in their area, which is a sprawling area, to say the least, AJ.
Yeah, great point, Jaleel. I mean, both of these academies, Salt Lake has 10 players who've seen time in the first team, come from the academy. How about this direct run? Little back hill was thwarted. It'd be a foul, sending it the other way. Then, you know, I think of academy success too. Red Bulls comes to mind. Atlanta's done a great job. If you have a resume like LA Galaxy's, Jalen Neal broke into the national team at age 19, helped LA lift the MLS Cup last year before moving on to Montreal. He started in this academy. A little further back, Efrain Alvarez ended up with over 100 appearances for the Galaxy. You go for a little further back, Jossie Zardes, MLS All-Star, MLS Cup champion, U.S. national team regular. There's a legacy with the Galaxy too.
You know, AJ, what makes me very happy about the entire pathway coming through it in my own right years ago is that earlier on, when the academy setup was kind of just starting, typically we're talking about FC Dallas and maybe the Seattle Sounders, so that we're producing top talent consistently. The overall point is there were few teams that were setting the example. Now it's the anomaly to not be producing talent.
Yeah.
At a very successful and consistent rate. All clubs have their own way of doing it, but what we're now hearing is so many different positive stories about pathway affecting the youth in terms of opening up opportunities throughout all of our markets. And that's where you start to see the needles move consistently and on a wider scale throughout the league, and that will continue to etch football in North America closer and closer to be able to compete with global football as well.
Playing a huge role in the development of the sport. By the way, catch the future stars of MLS in action at the MLS Next All-Star Game presented by Allstate. 44 of the best young talents from across North America. East vs. West showdown. That'll be Monday, July 21st, 7:30 Central from Palmer Field. Austin FC2's home on the MLS YouTube channel. Admission free and open to the public as well. Vanny will Trying to find Correas here. Good sliding challenge. Luis Rivera hustling back.
Yeah, that's a good challenge there from Rivera, because if he doesn't come over, that progression between bump over to Vanny and then that one-time ball into Correas is what they've relied on throughout this tournament. That's a good read defensively, and you have to be up for everything when those wide progressions on the right-hand side start to develop for LA Galaxy, because they've been potent in creating goal-scoring opportunities. Off the movement, here they come again.
Dylan Vanny crosses it. Preston, the intended target. Sakiris now. RSL and LA even in shots taken now as well. 5-5. Eric Preston, the lone goal in the 10th minute. On a flurry of opportunities in quick succession for the Galaxy. 3 of their 5 shots came in that moment. Cedar Stars Academy Bergen have already clinched their ticket to Championship Sunday. Still a bit of shock at how that match finished. Just a stunning conclusion in stoppage time. Bergen down 1-0. Just had a man sent off, and then you take down the GA Cup champions. That's going to be one remembered and talked about in MLS Next Cup for years to come.
Yeah, that's why we love football. This Cedar Stars team is showing everybody the reason why we need to continue talking about them.
Preston continuing to be a handful on the far side. Quintafio on a yellow gets the better of him on that matchup, though. Yeah, you had that match finished, and then what, a few minutes later, Inter Miami advanced on PKs in the, I think, U14s, U13s. LA not allowing Salt Lake to clear it there. Okay, boots it deep. Halengave with Preston on his back. Throw in here for the Galaxy. Eleven wins for LA since the start of April. 8 straight since they lost to LAFC in that 5-1 match. 11 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. But over the past 6 matches, they've outscored their opponents 21-2. After an auspicious start, Salt Lake have locked down a little bit, very much in this match. Ooh, belted off Sakiris, and he went down a second later. Will pause play for a moment.
Ooh, that was a rough one there. Teo Sakiris took one close proximity. It looked like straight to the midsection there, but he's been, you know, one of the leaders in the team, captain at times as well, and his ability to fortify the midfield, you know, alongside Vanny and Arnold has been excellent this season, and specifically in this tournament. He's committed to powerhouse Clemson and has spent the spring playing with LA Galaxy second team as well, and you know, he's just a fighter. He's also, you know, just a great kid, type of kid where the moment anybody meets him, they love him, and his attitude is definitely a bright spot and a breath of fresh air within that LA Galaxy locker room.
Big part of the midfield. MLS Next All-Star last year as well. Looks like he'll be all right in Understandably just needing a moment after that sequence. 37th minute here, LA and Real Salt Lake, U19 semifinals. LA so far have held Antonio Riquelme in check in his 19 goals. And Diego Rocio as well, who starred in the Philadelphia Union Academy. He was the MVP of the GA Cup last year in the U17s with 5 knockout round goals. He's played with Union 2 for a good bit as well. Salt Lake bought his homegrown contract for $100K recently. They're really high on Rocio's potential moving forward. You see number 19 there in the middle of your screen. Trying to get going here in the first half. Hartley a little bit behind. Intended target there and a foul on Mason Vanny. Giovia jogs over to it. Deficit right now for Salt Lake, but they're giving the Galaxy a good fight right now here in the first half. Nice spin by Villa. As he carries it to the middle of the pitch, then lays it off. Carter lays it off. Here's Rocio. Keeps his balance. Now to the far side, and Otley. Overlapping run. Instead, it's played in the box. Headed away by Magana. Salt Lake keeping it in the system here. Now Arnold finds Vanny. Looks like LA has dealt with the threats. Vanny splitting a pair of defenders. Here comes LA Galaxy. Sagely 1v1. Preston making a run. They find him. And a necessary intervention by Jack Otley. Coming all the way back. That was the right idea by Sagely. Jack Otley. They have saved a real chance there from Preston.
Yeah, and I like that there from Otley. He's one who's normally tasked with creating goal-scoring opportunities on the other end, getting into the box, but this is good defending in the end. But this right here, to be able to split 2 defenders on the dribble and then get your potential goal scorer in Sagely into the play is why Vanny is one of the top players in this next setup. Sagely does a very good job here to try to get the goal scorer and Preston into the play. But these 3 players, Vanny, Sagely, Preston, they have been creating a lot of problems for Real Salt Lake in this first half because they're on the same page working in telepathy.
Estala came over to help Villa in defense there, who was one-on-one with Sagely. And if Otley had not been able to get the slightest of touches to it, that movement may have vacated enough space for Preston to have an open opportunity. You saw Otley tracking back, and it works out for Salt Lake defensively in the end there, though. This will be a foul and a yellow card as well. Second booking. It goes against Gus Gonzalez, the UC Irvine commit. So Gonzalez joins Dylan Cantafio of Salt Lake in the book. Long diagonal ball to Mahalangave. Settles. 1v1 here with Hartley. Chipped in. It was just outside the range of Rocio. Grayson Carter. Vanny plays it back.
Very well done from the Galaxy there.
Magana sensed the pressure, went the other way. family members on the sideline knew that was a good sequence as well, as high press was coming from Salt Lake. I can't do that when going down. The whistle quickly blows over to Salt Lake.
Oh.
And now Securis may go into the book.
And he's begging with the referee, saying, "It's my first foul. Please, please don't put me in the book," because he knows when you have to play the rest of the match with more than a half left on a yellow card in this central spot of the midfield where you're going to be tasked to challenge continuously, you can be in a precarious spot there. But that's what we're talking about, of the heart and determination of Securis, just really making sure that he does his job to protect the back line. I like that the referee allows the players to play.
Riquelme's offside. That might be the final warning, though, for Securis. What do you like most about what you've seen from Salt Lake's perspective? I know they have the 1-0 deficit here, conceding the goal in the 10th minute, but it felt for a moment like this might be a replication of the LAFC LA Galaxy game, and that's turned out that's not the case.
Correct. And what I've liked most from Salt Lake is that they didn't allow the floodgates to open. They were able to still defend with numbers, making sure that they're limiting the LA Galaxy to attempts on goal from angles where their goalkeeper can typically make the save. The LA Galaxy has been the more dominant team, but as long as you keep the score level somewhat in a respectable fashion, you always have a chance to get back in it.
Vanny's solid turn allowed Galaxy to bring it down the pitch. Now Vanny fires, unleashes one. Great save, instinctive, parried out of play. It's going to be an LA corner.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about on both sides of the line. Good goalkeeping once we get toward the end of the play, but this is all about Greg Vanny. Just watching Dylan Vanny. Watch at the top of the screen here. He's just looking for a moment to shift it onto his right foot. We saw this in the quarterfinals where he found the top of the corner there. He's looking for that same effort, but McKay does a very good job just to push that on, to live to die another day. But what I also like about the goalkeeper is that he does not give up a parry for a tap in. Good stuff. This game is heating back up. Dylan Vanny is not only, again, facilitating, but also looking to get on the score sheet himself.
Sagely couldn't corral that cross. Barrios concedes possession. There's a quick turn, Gonzalez. Now Vanny, that's his spot. Blocked this time, though. More encouraging moments for LA, but now Salt Lake trying to open things up in transition.
Oh.
They play on. Here's Villa. Does spray it in. Villa's cross takes a bounce across the 6. Whistle blows after the play.
And talking about what I like most about Real Salt Lake, the way that they've been able to prevent LA Galaxy from, getting into multiple goals in this game is that they've stayed calm in the match. You can tell that their mentality hasn't been shaken by the early goal. They're sticking with their defensive principles to converge into the midfield when they need to, but most, I think, effectively on the defensive side is to get numbers in and around the box when the likes of Dylan Vanny or Correa's pinch in. And that's how they've kept the scoreline where it is, and they've allowed themselves to stay very competitive in this match. And their facilitation going forward once they win the ball has gotten better as the game has progressed, which has allowed them to get a few goal-scoring opportunities. But still, LA Galaxy are the aggressor. They've stayed on the ascendancy because they've just been a little bit more polished through the midfield in their chance creation or attack or advancement, let's say, into the attacking third.
Yeah, it's a Salt Lake side that entered feeling confident in terms of their defensive form. They had produced shutouts and clean sheets in 3 of the last 4 matches, with that 2-2 round of 16 match being the only goal they conceded in this recent stretch of game. But LA getting on the score sheet early. Villa clips it forward. Galaxy searching for a couple more chances here before the end of the first half. 7 shots to Salt Lake's 5. And now Magana gives it off. Correas committed the foul after giving up possession. Entertainment value certainly there here in the U19 semis. LA Galaxy, like goal scoring, they've been the team to watch. Come pitch side and take in the future first team players for the Galaxy. They've brought a good squad here in Murfreesboro. Salt Lake have outscored their opponents in this tournament 8-2 heading into this matchup. Plenty capable themselves. Just a couple more seconds here left in the first half now. Vanny trying to find Preston on the far side. Salt Lake get a shot off. Riquelme to Mahalangave. Good defense. Whistle blows. That's the end of the half. LA Galaxy with the advantage through one half of play off the foot of Eric Preston in the 10th minute. They're one half away from a potential spot in the U19 finals. Through 45 minutes, it's LA Galaxy 1, Real Salt Lake 0.
I know I'm fully attractive. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
Murfreesboro is where all the magic is happening this week here at the MLS Next Cup playoffs. Atlanta United, a 2-1 victory over Nashville SC in the U15s to advance to the championship. AJ Ricketts, Kalen Carr, early on, Nashville controlled, earned a penalty, which they would convert.
Yeah, Nashville, the home team, came out and were the aggressors to begin with in this match. It was a really good run in behind from Rodriguez, who gets fouled and then steps up himself, cuts it across, the celebrations, and all of Nashville had the momentum, but credit to Atlanta United. They continue to pick and probe, move it from one side to the next. It's an excellent ball across from Martinez, and then finds the other winger, Gonzalo Riveras, brings them back level. That shifted the momentum in this match.
That was the 21st goal of the season for Riveras. High degree of difficulty on that finish, but he wasn't done, Kalen.
Yeah, he was alert in the box, sets his feet well, steps back, ready for any drop down, and then just a compact finish towards that back post. And the celebration, once again, is second of the match already, and Atlanta United heading off to the final.
Real Salt Lake on to the U16 finals at the MLS Next Cup playoffs. 3-0 scoreline, but to start this one, Jalil Anibaba, it was pretty cagey for most of this match.
Yeah, as much as Inter Miami was able to keep Parker off the score sheet, you cannot prevent this young man from wreaking havoc. Excellent stuff here, showing his speed, showing his intelligence, physicality to skate past 3 or 4 Inter Miami defenders here, but what you're looking at is the first clear-cut chance of the game. But guess who it is clearing it off the back of the line? It is Sorga. This is excellent stuff here. This is why he is tasked with leading that back line. And for me, if you're going to give 2 or 3 man of the matches, he's going to be one of them here. And look, this is the moment that changed the match completely, Evan.
Rylan Hashimoto, he's got to be the man of the match. When you score an Olympico in the 80th minute, that completely changed the complexion. RSL was able to get out on the break and put this one away emphatically.
Yeah, Route 1 football gets the second opportunity. I told you that Parker is a handful to deal with, but guess who's reaping the benefits? It's Silva. He says, oh yeah, we're going to celebrate. We're going to turn this into a highlight situation here. Bring out all the cameras, bring out all the social media, because if you see me on Instagram, remember my name, Silva, absolutely balling. And then, hey, yup, we are ready to celebrate. We're ready to go into the next round, and that's what you get when you're able to turn Route 1 football into goal-scoring opportunities. And Wilson says, I want to join the party too, Evan. Don't forget about me. I can slot it home, and then I can make everybody understand that I'm willing and ready to be counted. Celebrate to the corner. Just a little shoulder shrug, because I don't know who's going to the final if it's not RSL.
RSL, the GA Cup champs, trying to bring home MLS Next Cup on Saturday. Absolutely incredible semifinal here in Murfreesboro at the MLS Next Cup U19 semifinals. Orlando Cedar Stars. It started pretty cagey, Kalen Carr.
Yeah, you could just see the way they were going to use set pieces. Cedar Stars have been targeting Amadou Han throughout this tournament in that space, and Rojas does a good job of getting a hand to it. On the other side, Orlando City had a big opportunity with Jackson Platts rising so well, nodding this one back across, but kissing off the crossbar.
Second half, Cedar Stars started to take control. Junior Juf was dangerous.
Yeah, that run in behind was perfect and released from Abidjan, who is so good in this match. And this one was just desperately unlucky to see this one go off that far post. A really good look there from Juf.
It was Orlando who would take the lead through Gustavo Caraballo.
Yeah, but it's really good up back through play to be able to release their star man, the 16-year-old Gustavo Caraballo, and tucks it underneath. Benzema coming right there, gives Orlando City the lead. Hadn't had many opportunities, but you only needed one, and you can see the frustration starting to come in from Cedar Stars, and that right there is going to be a red card for Junior Juf. And at that point, you thought this might be all she wrote, but they didn't give up. They continued to fight, and this is such a good movement from Amadou Han, coming off the line there, moving away from goal, but then redirecting it in stoppage time to bring them level in this match.
A 92nd minute equalizer. Orlando nearly win it through Ellis.
Yeah, Orlando had their chances to kill this game, and this one is just inches wide. It just trickles off that far post from Ellis, and from that position, you thought maybe that Cedar Stars would just sit and be content to go to penalties, but it was anything but. And once again, it was Abidjan just serves in that first time ball. It's so clever to take it first time, so not allowing the defense to set, and it makes Platts have to go back towards his own net, tracking in on Amadou Han. That's the win. What an epic comeback.
This summer, the center of the soccer world is right here. The world's best, the world's game, all in your backyard. 4 major moments. One summer like no other. Learn more at MLSsoccer.com/summer.
youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Welcome back to beautiful Murfreesboro, Tennessee. A half-hour drive from downtown Nashville at the Siegel Soccer Complex. Through 45 minutes of play, LA Galaxy continuing the good vibes. Up 1-0 right now over Real Salt Lake in the U19 semifinals. They were pressing and probing from the opening moments. This was Correas who had an early opportunity, just hooked it wide on beautiful service from the midfield. Correas has been a difference maker throughout the course of this entire tournament. LA kept the pressure up though. Here's Dylan Vanny going to the far side. Preston played it 4. This started the goal scoring sequence. First time though, second off the line. Eric Preston's there to finish and make it a 1-0 match. That was in the 10th minute. Beautiful service in. Sagely couldn't off a great save from McKay. The rebound wasn't there, but Eric Preston in the end. He's been one of the best players, Jalil Anababa, in this tournament for LA Galaxy.
There's no mistake as to why he's committed to UCLA. He's a prolific winger that can create a lot of problems for you, not just getting on the score sheet, but looking to facilitate as well. He's been working on one accord with Sagely. If it's not for McKay, you're seeing a situation where it's going to be 2-0 in this first half here. Look at how Preston does a very good job to cut in and then look for the number 9 and Sagely. Excellent stuff for the LA Galaxy as they continue in on the ascendancy. We continue to talk about the goal scorer, cutting in and facilitating, looking to get it to Dylan Vanny. This is vintage Dylan Vanny. Open up, get it to your right foot, look for a strike on goal. Again, McKay has come up big in this first half to keep it just 1-0.
Yeah, we almost saw Vanny, well, we did see Vanny score from a similar spot, just a couple yards to the left on one of the goals of the tournament for LA Galaxy. Perfectly placed top bids a couple days ago. That time, McKay able to get the save and keep it a 1-0 match through 45 minutes of play. LA out shooting Real Salt Lake 7-5 in that first half. So what does Salt Lake perhaps have in store here the rest of the way to try to keep their tournament hopes alive? Backs against the wall. It's the Galaxy side that just continues to score goals. Will McKay keeping his team in it, hoping that his teammates, whether it's Rocio, Riquelme, Grayson Carter, Jack Otley, numerous players on this Salt Lake roster with professional contract and next pro and youth international experience, hoping somebody can find the back of the net.
One of the main principles in attack that Salt Lake side has been looking to implement in this fixture here is to finish attacks with runs in behind, blindside runs, and to get shape behind in and around the ball so that they can facilitate either from deep lying positions here, but the running in behind to progress into the attacking half, and most importantly to get behind that LA Galaxy defense has just not quite been there. Can they facilitate it here?
Threading it into the center from Mahalangave. Galaxy converged quickly on that cross. Mahalangave, the right back. United States and Zimbabwe pedigree. Made 10 appearances for Al Monarchs last year. Haven't seen him play as high as Vanny throughout the course of this one, but quickly into the start of the second half showing a willingness to. And here he is on the ball right here. Taking on Preston. A lot of white jerseys and a narrow area. Not a lot of space to operate here for Salt Lake. Feathered to the near side, settled well. Deflected ball. Mahalangave kept it in. Shot is blocked right along the end line. Galaxy still not out of danger. Near post was covered well by Owen Pratt.
Uh-oh.
Sagely, good turn. Defense recovers, Estala on him. Now Preston, top of the box. Eric Preston searching for a second. His strike sails high.
And there's a play down on this far side here where Mahalangave goes down, trying to just whip his hips around to get good service, and he keeps the ball in bounds. and there's a second bite at the apple there. Off your screen, he's still down here, but this has been a facet of the LA Galaxy attack that has been excellent. Sagely coming in from that number 9 spot, turning into a facilitator there. You're seeing the winger and Preston, who's the goal scorer, kind of switching positions with the Stanford recruit in Sagely, and their interchange with their movement and their ability to go forward in an instant has put a lot of pressure on this Salt Lake defense.
Substitute for Salt Lake at the half, by the way. Axel Uriostegui enters the match. Next pro experience in his background as well. Has earned some US U15, 16, 17 experience as well to his name. Villa taken down immediately, pops back to his feet, continues the sequence, sent across, nobody on the near side. Mahangave giving chase, but it will go out of play for an LA throw. Look at Villa right there. He was in Costa Rica with US U17s recently. Trying to clear it to Vanny instead,
Trouble.
top of the box. Knocked off the ball. Feathered over the top. Out of play. Uriostegui couldn't get to it.
Good defensive cohesion in the end from the LA Galaxy. They get a lot of numbers behind the ball. There's no space to go through. And you have to try to be very creative to either look to scoop it over the top with not much space when you're already top box and starting your attack. And typically you're having to go wide and around. LA Galaxy has managed this game very well, but Salt Lake has found themselves in a position where they've gained back more possession in this second half. That's what I've asked of them. In the first half, they didn't find much of the ball, and it was kind of hopeful attacks going forward with limited numbers against a solid LA Galaxy defense. They've balanced this game out a little bit more because through the midfield, they've connected more passes than they typically were in the first half.
Villa committing the foul there. Yeah, it's a small sample size here in the second half. They look a bit more formidable on the ball here through 5 minutes of play. LA has been more defensive here since they came back out of the tents. Tapped to Sagely, goes right back. That'll be a foul. Gabriel Arnold taken to the pitch on this challenge.
Yeah, Berrios is just saying, no, it wasn't a foul. There wasn't much contact, but it definitely was.
Clipped in, headers off the mark. It bounces to Preston, back to goal. Hartley recycles it in.
Good ball.
Correas, nothing there. And a goal kick.
No, nothing there. Both bodies just came together there, and that's why you're seeing Correas just get up and jog back to his defensive spot. He's been excellent in this tournament and beyond. Being able to pop up in the box or behind the defense with late running, timely running, has been why Correas has been so dangerous here. Can also facilitate putting in a very good ball here. If we get a look at how this play recycles, you're going to see Correas just pop up in a very dangerous spot. He's running toward the back post. He gets himself onside, and he gets on the end of good service. Continue to look at how number 11, Correas, affects this game here because he's dangerous and a willing runner.
Anything you feel LA could improve on from that previous half?
Yeah, I think just getting Dylan Vanny on the ball and allowing players like Correas, who you're seeing here in your screen, the ability to run off of Sagely.
Yeah.
And they're getting away from that a little bit in this second half. It's also because Salt Lake has come out of the tents a little bit stronger than they started the game overall.
Mahangave feeds it in. Well done to shield it by Magana. Diego Rocio looking for any sort of avenue to put that on goal. The talented next pro product, Magana, was there. talk about the offensive exploits of this Galaxy side. Just don't forget about what the back four has done throughout this tournament. Hartley, Gonzalez, Magana, and Vanny. They've been fabulous.
And they've been excellent in breaking Salt Lake's press today, AJ.
Yeah.
There have been multiple progressions in their build-out that have looked like just that previous one there, where Magana does a very good job to show his technical ability, whether he bounces it into Dylan Vanny and then it comes back out to the right-hand side through Shakiris or, you know, the other Vanny brother. So it's a very good situation for them to be able to break Salt Lake's press, and that demoralizes your press. When a team is able to consistently break it down, you don't run forward with that same exuberance. The game lulls off, and then it makes your build more advanced up the pitch like we're seeing here.
It's a great point. Just because a team is pressing doesn't mean the efficiency, the effectiveness, the willingness is always there. And you get the sense too that this back four, it's just never felt as if they've been flustered whenever the high press does come.
Yeah, and that's through good positioning. You can see at the top of your screen, Yellow Boots Vanny is looking for the ball as the right back, and if they have options, their triangles are very clear, and they're poised in their build-out. Yes, they're winning 1-0 right now, but they aren't, again, just playing side to side. See how they're breaking lines? That makes it very difficult to get to the ball.
Shakiris with the feed to the far side. Now Sagely taking Villa on. Sagely to his left. Now to play in the Rosie. Got a little bit underneath it. But the build-up from the back is impressive once more.
Yeah, it really is, and I liked what I've seen from Carson Sagely. Again, a Stanford commit and, you know, high character player, one that is well respected in the LA Galaxy setup for his exploits in between the lines and in the classroom as well. But he's a killer as well, man. What I like about him is he has a very good understanding of where to come off the shoulders of defenders, to either receive off the half turn where he's facing you up, and that allows the likes of Preston or even Dylan Vanny making late runs. And of course, Correas, that we've talked about ad nauseum, very good center forward in Sagely, and there's no mistake as to why he's going to Stanford University.
So a couple substitutions will be made as Arnold and Preston, their day is over. Brett Fawn into the match, as well as Johnny Gonzalez. First and second substitutes for LA today.
And look for them to affect the game here. What substitutes are always looking to do is to be shot out of a cannon and to elevate what's happening down on the pitch. As we've spoken about in the last 5 minutes, the Galaxy have somewhat lulled off from their high energy, high octane performance in the first early stages of the match at large here. They're taking a more pragmatic approach and look for Font to continue to do what he did, you know, in the quarterfinals, which was to come into the game and to elevate it as well.
Look at Fawn there, who just entered. He's heading to the University of Denver. Made the Final Four of the College Cup last year. Fawn's been with the Galaxy Academy since he was in 4th grade. Johnny Gonzalez, he's a former LAFC Academy guy. Made the switch and contributing well.
Talk about a program like Denver. It's one of those.
Vanny really got Galaxy possession there.
Yeah, one of those programs, AJ, that has been doing very good work for years on end. Sometimes slides under the radar, but they've been producing talent as well. You don't need to look too much further than Nashville SC first team goalkeeper and Joe Willis. He's a Denver alum and, you know, a goalkeeper that has really risen the ranks in terms of, you know, shutouts. He's one of the top active players in MLS history with the amount of shutouts that he's had. And since Nashville has come into MLS in 2020, he's been an excellent goalkeeper in between the sticks, locker room guy, community person as well.
Salt Lake trying to bring the high press here. Another example of how LA trying to deal with it. That time they do earn a throw in off of it. You were talking about Sagely, giving him his praises a moment ago. He's heading to Stanford in the fall. Do you ever get any non-conference matchups with Stanford when you're at Santa Clara?
Oh, yeah.
They put you on the schedule?
Oh, yeah, all the
Good,
time.
good.
We play Stanford every single year, and that was typically your biggest test in preseason. You know, Bay Area clash of two excellent universities. I used to love going to Stanford and playing on their beautiful pitch in soccer stadium there, and then when they would come to us in Santa Clara, it was always a very good fixture.
Imagine the crowds were fired up for that one. This is flicked onto Halangave. Tracking back by Hartley. Out of play. I think that's a throw. Stanford and your alma mater, Carolina, is now an ACC matchup, which is still weird to think about.
I couldn't even begin there. That's a conversation of how much time do you have. It's just so wild, because when we think of the nostalgics, it's not even Pac-12 seems weird to say. Pac-10 back in the day.
Right.
But no, the elevation of college athletics in the soccer setup just continues to elevate, right? And wow.
How did Vanny
wow.
continue that sequence there for the Galaxy? He was on his rear. Los Angeles in the attacking half. Good skill by Vanny. They try to locate Sagely. Fond to the corner of the box. Vanny lays it off. Correas does well to get it in, but he was well in front of Vanny there. Out of play for a throw. All right, how does Vanny even do this?
This is excellent stuff here, and this is what we're talking about. With the high press of Real Salt Lake, they're losing confidence in their press because the LA Galaxy is able to build out. But look at this here from Mason Vanny. He falls down, still takes a first touch, and then a second one with the outside of his right boot. These are the types of things that, you know, I think excellent defenders in build out don't get a lot of credit for. It's very difficult to break a high press with poise and not give up cheap goals or get nicked in your defensive third, and do it with a purpose. Sometimes the ball gets passed back and forth, and defenders are spending way too much time on the ball and not progressing into the more advanced parts of the field. But the LA Galaxy has been able to understand exactly when and where to make effective passes, and it's, for me, the reason why they're winning this game is through their build out and their possession with purpose in this game, because when they advance into the attacking third like this, they do it with numbers and purpose. Good defending and a very good tackle there.
Rivera snuffing out the threat. Salt Lake maybe trying to pick their spots here in transition. Threaded inward now. This is Grayson Carter. Dinks it back. Cantafio over to the near side, Halangave. Riquelme, the leading scorer. Able to keep it in along the byline. And the whistle ends all of that. Riquelme a bit too physical in the end.
It's been difficult for Riquelme to find joy in this match, and that's because the LA Galaxy defense has tracked him everywhere he's went. And look at this sportsmanship at the highest level, AJ.
Needing a moment to get stretched out there. A reminder tomorrow, well, we've reached the finals, Jaleel. U15 gets us started at 9:30. Atlanta United at Philadelphia Union. It's a good week for Atlanta United. Finals of the 16s as well. Real Salt Lake's Academy has made it in that age bracket. 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the MLS YouTube channel. Championship Saturday kicks off the finals, and then of course 17s and 19s on Sunday. Who's going to join Cedar Stars Bergen? The U19s. Right now it looks like LA. And the MLS Next All-Star Game also coming up soon as well. Monday, July 21st, brought to you by Allstate. 7:30 p.m. Central Time at Palmer Field, home of Austin FC2. Live on the MLS YouTube channel, mission free as well for all those in Austin. Holangave looks to be all right. A little worse for the wear. An hour plus in these hot and humid conditions. Trying to do what he can to guide RSL back. This LA defense has proven to be more than formidable over the course of this week in Murfreesboro. Holangave will be substituted for. Chase Duke, second leading scorer on this RSL side this season, 16 goals. LA has only conceded 1 goal at this tournament. Foul there. Duke scored in the quarterfinals with the decisive penalty late in the game against Philadelphia Union. Also a couple goals in the group stage at the GA Cup for his side. So goal scorer in tournament knockout play. Salt Lake needs it. Only got about 25 minutes left to work with. They looked better at the start of this half. Now 20 minutes in, still just 1 shot. Space to work with here, though, before it's closed down. Headed away from the 6. Second ball off the back. Throw in here for Salt Lake. Back to Utah chant starting a little early here.
Yeah, but Trash Talk doesn't care about timing, man. If you have any
careful now,
any inkling and ability to talk trash, be confident with it, you typically are going to take it. But I understand what you're talking about here, because Salt Lake has grown themselves further confident in this game in the second half.
That'll be a foul on Correas and a free kick upcoming for Salt Lake. Correas going into the book as well. The only team trash talk, Julia, I'd heard prior to that this week was chants of "Who's your barber?" at certain players.
Yeah, they definitely weren't talking to you, because your haircut is clean, bro. Clean.
I appreciate that assessment. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll post that review of yours on their company's Yelp page.
All right, cool. Make sure you put about 13 vowels in that. Clean.
Big moment here for Salt Lake. Going towards goal. Oh! Are you kidding? 1-1 in the 68th minute. Antonio Riquelme with a fizzer. Incredible. What a strike.
This is excellent stuff. Riquelme does what very few players can do. From about 25 yards out, 30 at that, puts it in the top corner. There's absolutely nothing that Pratt can do. And you can see what it means to this Real Salt Lake side here. They've been looking and needing a moment to get themselves back in it. This boy is a top player for due cause here. Excellent stuff. I challenge you to find another player in Murfreesboro in this tournament that can put the ball top bins just like that off a free kick. Excellent stuff. The plot is getting real thick in the 68th minute.
Antonio Riquelme, he heard those chants of back to Utah and said, I took that personally. seconds later, we're tied up.
Yeah, this is excellent. Man, this is what we want here in the semifinals, where you're getting in the later stages of the game. Now there's everything to play for. The LA Galaxy is going to need to perk back up in the second half. Here they come.
They're near side. Shot deflected, out of play. That's the substitute, Johnny Gonzalez, who came in for Preston along the left side.
This is a good ball in the channel. And the ability to kind of stick with it after it kicks up off the turf is very well done to earn your side a corner kick.
Gonzalez can operate on the wing or as an attacking midfielder, a versatile player. Came in a few minutes ago. 70th minute now, LA and Real Salt Lake, one hopper. Dealt with. LA trying to get back in there. It looks like there was a moment. Sagely couldn't get to it before that was cleared. Los Angeles, they have not been in this kind of moment in the playoffs thus far. This is the first real adversity they've had to face. They are being challenged by Salt Lake here as we enter the final stages.
Yeah, and Salt Lake has done a very good job to manage their emotions throughout this game. Spoke about it in the first half. When you suffer a late goal and you're playing most of the game down 1-0, it's not easy. You have to suffer down there on the pitch. And what can happen when you're playing against a team who's dominating multiple facets of the game like LA Galaxy has. Possession, goal scoring opportunities, advancing into dangerous parts of the field. On the other side of the line, Salt Lake could have the propensity to kind of discombobulate themselves mentally, but they've stayed locked into this game, defended in a cohesive nature, and allowed themselves to find a moment that puts the game level. Excellent stuff from Salt Lake from a mentality standpoint. And now here, where you have Chase Duke into this game, you have more attacking options as the game is 1-1 with 20 minutes left.
It's going to be a fun sprint to the finish here. LA 1, Salt Lake 1. U19 semifinals. Back after this.
I know I'm fully attractive. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
New York versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
Defending in the run of play, you don't want to give up set piece opportunities for your opponent. And this was what Salt Lake needed, and they took advantage.
Yeah, you don't want to give up set piece opportunities. Why? Because Riquelme is going to punish you. This is excellent stuff. His family on the west side of the country is extremely happy here to see how he's been able to use his prowess to find a moment and get his team back into this game. Excellent stuff from Riquelme. Can he deliver one or two more moments of brilliance? Because there's everything to play for here left in this semifinal matchup.
How much fun will this finish be here? Can the Galaxy or Salt Lake find another? Or are we going to be headed to penalties? Drama is elevating here in Murfreesboro. Two more substitutes for the Galaxy after that hydration break. Kaya Ina, third leading scorer, entered, along with Nava, Nathan Nava. So third and fourth substitutes for this Galaxy side. Goals this season for Ina. Vanny, nice turn, created a bit of separation, all sorts of space here for Fan. Plays it towards the in line, got that a little wrong. Nava was giving pursuit. Gonzalez towards the sideline. Sagely and Correas were the two Galaxy players who were substituted for. Gonzalez dispatches his first defender. Now both of them converge on him. Good defending by Salt Lake.
Yeah, good team defending there in the wide areas.
One of these Galaxy substitutes make an impact. Fan, Gonzalez, Aina, Nava. Salt Lake has brought one of their top goal scorers off the bench, who may be a hero and send their team to Sunday's matchup with Cedar Stars Bergen. Possession here from the Galaxy. And they get a shot off here. Ripped and then deflected out of play. Corner kick. Or is that just mishit there? No, that'll be a goal kick. It's Gonzalez there. Salt Lake trying to make it 6 wins in their last 7 matches. Haven't had the same kind of offensive flair, but they've gotten the job done. Well, that's a good turn by Vanny. He goes to the left side. Gonzalez to his right foot. Gonzalez just off the mark. Really starting to assert himself the last few minutes.
Yeah, and again, this is vintage Dylan Vanny to be able to wiggle free between 2 defenders. Not easy to do at all. And then the substitute, Gonzalez, just looking for that far corner. Oh man, that does not miss by much. LA Galaxy getting back to what they've done throughout this tournament on the attacking side and in this fixture.
They're looking more like themselves early on in this match, and then the kind of personality they displayed on Wednesday as well. Be a little concerning down the stretch here for Salt Lake. Doesn't feel automatic that Salt Lake can work out of the back right now. Constant barrage of pressure. Now a shot lined up, Perry to the right side, out of play. It's a corner for LA this time.
Nava does a good job as well to get a strike on goal and earn a corner kick for his side. He's showing the ability, as well as Gonzalez, to come into the game as a substitute to affect it. This is good stuff to size up the defense and then take what it gives you. Just trying to look to open his hips there and force Pratt into a save, and that's, excuse me, McKay into a save. And McKay does a good job there, again, that we've spoken about, to not give up a second bite at the apple, a parry on a good angle. And we can see how the humidity and the heat is playing a factor late in this semifinal matchup here. Multiple players having to take a break and get stretched out. We've seen that throughout this match so far, and we've seen it throughout the tournament. As you get into later stages, one thing that everybody back home or down there on the pitch has to understand is that all of these teams have been playing full matches, AJ, throughout the course of the week.
No.
To be able to flip 90 minutes every 2 days is not an easy thing to do. So the mental side, the physical side of how difficult it is to get to these stages of the tournament are now really rearing their head.
Keep in mind, LA got to send a lot of their starters off an hour into the match on Wednesday. Maybe a little fresher as, again, a recap of how things are shaping up on championship weekends. Here the MLS NEXT Cup, U15 and U16s have their championship matchups tomorrow. We get started at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then the U17s and U19s, same time on Sunday. Cedar Stars Bergen, the other club to advance to the U19 final. That thrilling comeback earlier this morning. That may be one of the most shocking storylines of the tournament. That comeback in the final 6 minutes. Salt Lake readying their third substitute. So Contreras will come in for Uriostegui, who was a substitute already. Whistles right before they were about to take the corner. Felix Contreras, the substitute.
Get them moving on their feet. Be first. Keep moving, RSL.
4 subs now for LA, 3 for Salt Lake. 81st minute. Four or 5 white jerseys in the box. Driven ball off the volley here. Headed off the line. Recycled back in. Dangerous spot. Eyes for goal! Galaxy back in front. 2-1. Off the corner kick. Glory for Galaxy. Magana, their center back, finds the net.
Yeah, this is good stuff. We've been talking about how excellent Magana has been through the build-out. And, of course, any set piece allows the big trees to come forward. Just look at how open he is because the defense has to converge over to try to get the secondary service. Good service in the danger zone. The Real Salt Lake converges to where you're supposed to go. They just don't have enough defenders to mark up Magana. This is excellent stuff. He puts his laces through it, and LA Galaxy is one step closer to the finals. Yeah, this is why we love Academy of Football, because all of the support through the different age groups come through. This kid in Magana has been excellent here, again, through the build. But what any defender is looking to do when they come forward, AJ, is that sniff of an opportunity to find themselves on the score sheet, because hey, us defenders, we can hit the back of the net too. Excellent stuff. 2-1 in the 83rd minute.
Future first teamer for this Galaxy side. He's signed his next pro contract. He's a U.S. Youth International, and what a big moment in the next Cup semis for Pepe Magana. 81st minute strike. 2 of the 3 goals today have come off set pieces. Now urgency at a premium for Salt Lake. It's got to happen soon. Can they get another moment of brilliance from someone like Riquelme? This Galaxy defense has been a difficult code to crack through the run of play. Tried to find Duke there. Angle was cut off.
That's good stuff.
Good ball, Gonzalez now. All sorts of space to operate. Gonzalez angling towards the near post, lays it off back. Vanny was his intended target.
Yeah, and you can see here the goal scorer, Jose Pepe Magana, is an excellent player and an excellent example of what the pathway means and can do. He's another player that has been with the team since he was in 5th grade. Here they come again.
Barrios is down. This is ripped from 20 yards out. Nathan Nava gave it a go. And now they'll pause play. Barrios now needing some attention.
And we've seen this from Salt Lake players having to get some attention here. And Magana, again, just an example of the pathway and what it can do. To be able to learn in a top-level system as the LA Galaxy is. It's not just the first team that we are typically talking about. The academy has really improved over the years. And for Magana to be with the side since he was in 5th grade, already signing a pro deal, U.S. Men's Youth International as well, AJ.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is our youth are much more prepared to play in multiple systems. They understand build outs at a higher level. If they're defenders, they understand what it takes at a higher rate to move into second team football, move into first team football. They're more prepared when they get called into national team call-ups, younger and younger and younger. And Magana is the true epitome of what can happen when your club takes things very seriously and creates more opportunities for success for their youth. And of course, the entire landscape continues to improve.
It's worked out exactly as he could have hoped since he joined this academy. Will be a factor in their system for years to come. But LA, perhaps they want some more here. Vanny trying to get to that right foot, sprays it to the right side. Back to the top of the box here. Fawn gives it off to the middle of goal, flicked over the post. But it will be a corner, yet another one for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, this is good stuff again here from LA Galaxy. Dylan Vanny in the right spot to jumpstart the attack again, and then does exactly what you're supposed to do. Flash it out to the outside, and then allow your players like Fawn and company to join the attack. It spreads the Salt Lake defense wide where they can get gaps of either underlaps or get down toward the end line to flash surface across the face of the goal, which was what they elected for there. LA Galaxy is playing a complete game up to this point in time, but in the 87th minute, there's still a lot of time, or not, let me not say a lot, but there's still time for Salt Lake to get themselves back in it with the late equalizer.
And for another goal off a corner, that was good service in. Nava was the closest to it. Sent right back. Flag was up on the far side. It does not feel, and this is not surprising, it does not feel as if LA have any intentions of settling into a defensive shape to see this one through. They're pushing for a third.
Yeah, and I think they've done it in a balanced measure. Sometimes when teams are up 2-1 or 2-0 late in a game and they elect to still stay offensive, they do it in an irresponsible way.
Yeah.
But you definitely can't say that about LA Galaxy. As they're continuing to look for opportunities to widen the lead, you still have the back line in a well-allocated spot. You know, Mason Vanny is back there, of course. Magana, who we've been talking about, Gonzalez, Hartley, they've been excellent in, of course, protecting Pratt, but supporting in the attack when needed.
This is a mature team, and they've shown it in a variety of ways today, whether they're built up from the back or how they're managing this match with the lead. 88th minutes. It's desperation time for the Utah side. This is an LA squad with championship DNA with that U17 MLS Next Cup final recently. It's carried over to the U19s. That's a handball on Salt Lake.
One thing that we do know, whoever becomes victorious in this match they have their hands full going into the finals. The Cedar Star side waiting for them on the other side of the bracket, AJ.
What a statement.
Yeah, they're the real deal as well. Of course, it was an upset knocking off Orlando because of how well the entire Orlando organization has set up their stars to flourish, whether it's GA Cup, whether it's the playoffs. This is an excellent academy with some top talent, but Cedar Stars has done an excellent job, not only in this tournament, but throughout the course of their history to set up their hotbed of talent to be able to compete at the highest level in these tournaments, AJ. And you're talking about, yes, some of the best players in the country, but we're talking about some of the best players in the world at this age.
Yeah, I know they made the final last year, but I think that win today is one of the signature victories of their time at MLS Next Cup and all their playoff appearances, just with how talented, how many potential first-teamers are on that Orlando City side. They brought the house.
Oh, yeah.
Bio was here.
They brought the house with the balcony, front porch, back porch, and the swimming pool, all of it, my bro. And this is what I love about football, because you want to see the best players playing on the biggest stage.
Riquelme, he's the goal scorer for Salt Lake today. This is sent towards the 6. Directed back out of goal. Relieved of pressure for the moment is LA. Salt Lake throwing. LA substitute is readied on the sideline. It's going to be it for Mateo Sekiris today. Skylar Kaplan, the latest substitute, the 5th for LA Galaxy here. He's heading to UC San Diego. Very positive day for Sekiris, and Kaplan will sprint on and try to see the job through.
Yes, he's coming in to get limited minutes. This is a very versatile player. Has a lot of talent, left footer, grew up playing in the Irvine Strikers setup, and recently came over to the LA Galaxy, and he's been an excellent fit since arriving in the white, blue, and yellow.
He's graduating early to join that San Diego freshman class. Got this one across, but it is behind goal. Harmless in the end, 91st minutes. 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Keep it here, boys. Keep it here. Heads up.
6 minutes of stoppage time is a lot, and there'll probably be about 1 or 2 more decent opportunities or looks at goal for Salt Lake. That's typically how the ebb and flow of a game will go, even late on here. And what will the Galaxy do in terms of defending any of those potential sniffs at goal? What I've liked the most about the way LA Galaxy, as Fawn is here on the ball looking to facilitate as he gets stripped, one of the things that I've liked the most about the LA Galaxy in the later stages of this tournament, AJ, is how they've managed games.
Yeah.
And yes, they've been excellent in scoring goals. It sounds wild to say that them scoring 2 goals in a match in this tournament has not been what they've been doing. They've been hitting the back of the net in bunches, but they've had a very uncanny ability to know when they need to get in their build out, when to play direct out of the back, when to move the ball side to side in the midfield, but most importantly, they sniff the moments out in the game where a goal is needed, and they have the ability to find it.
They haven't been in this position, though, trying to manage just a 1-goal lead. There've been blowouts in this tournament. The closest match for him has been 3-0. No margin for error right now. Salt Lake, did they get a corner there?
They do.
Yes. Lone goal coming off a free kick. Estala, their center back, playing hard. Sharing some words with Kaplan, who just entered. And Kaplan will get a talking to, as well as Carter. Corner sent in. Los Angeles taking it out of the box. We had 6 minutes of stoppage time in the first game today. That was the magical 6 minutes for Bergen. This is redirected back out 30 yards. Riquelme couldn't settle it down. It's thumped out of play over the umbrellas and parents and families. 94th minute.
Trying to get the clearance in, but they better watch out for our cameras, man.
Got some expensive equipment up there.
Hey, man. Look, this was close.
to this.
Boom! Trying to get the clearance in. I like that no-nonsense defending, especially late in the match. But I'm telling you, if you hit one of our cameras, AJ, it's not going to be good.
Jalil's going to have something to say about it. Riquelme, good hustle, keeps it in. Riquelme does get this across. Oh, he lofted it just a bit too much. Galaxy defense can reset. Another cross whipped in. Magana, the second goal scorer for LA, was there to cover it.
Nice.
Nicely done. Third cross sent in. Off the volley, diving stop, but it was covered all the way by Pratt. Might have been going wide anyway.
Yeah, this is good stuff. A little bit of trickery. The sauce and the seasoning. Ooh, there you go. And then the ability to progress forward and put the ball into the danger zone. I said that Salt Lake would have maybe 1 or 2 decent chances, looks at goal. That might have been their last chance here unless they can regain possession from the Galaxy.
And Paro, who recently entered, had the cross. That was Estala trying to finish. And only about a minute left to work with. Time is of the essence. Vanny getting by that initial defender. He'll probably carry this to the flag, and not the time to commit a foul right there. You have to be so perfect defensively in these stoppage time moments. Every throw in, every foul. 20 or 30 seconds off the clock. LA obviously in no hurry to retrieve this. Just seconds left now. LA can sense it. So deflating for Salt Lake to get back in this game in the 68th minute, and then 13 minutes later, LA putting themselves out in front. The whistle very well may blow at any second now. Will they get a chance for a final shot? Really can't even concede possession now. It's got to happen immediately. Sent back to midfield. Salt Lake just trying to keep it in the attacking third. Galaxy waiting for the whistle. Salt Lake may have inklings of a cross here. They do get it into Duke, and it's off target. Wide right by a foot or two. Hands in his face. He knew that might have been the final moment.
Here we go, heads up, keep it here, RSL, keep it here.
In the 7th minute of stoppage time. Galaxy send it deep. Whistle blows. That's it. The Galaxy are going through. Los Angeles clinches a spot in the U19 championship. A deserving result of their tournament play. 2-1, your final score. Jalil Anababa, what a performance. Your Adidas man of the match. It's Magana towards the end of play here.
Pepe Magana, this is a player that you are going to need to get to know and make sure that you don't forget about him, because we are going to continue to lament this player, because he's not only an excellent passer out of the back, he can hit the back of the net as well. The pathway shows if you stick around in the MLS Academy since 5th grade, sign a pro deal, score a goal in the semifinals, we're going to be talking about you. Again, remember, Jose Pepe Magana, LA Galaxy, they get themselves into the final, AJ. This was a good one. Well-deserved from the West Coast, the best coast here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
LA had to sweat it out a little bit more than they're used to at this tournament. Got the job done. Two clubs from opposite sides of the country will meet on Sunday in LA Galaxy at Cedar Stars Bergen. Today, it's Galaxy 2, Salt Lake 1. This copyrighted broadcast of the 2025 MLS NEXT Cup may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer and Player Development, LLC.